Ladies and gents, how do? Welcome to my next video on the restoration of the X2 Parrish Formula 1 bike. RD500 engine, we've covered that before, heavily modified by Dave Johnson. I want to talk you through a few aspects of it. First of all, people discuss it. Is it a cassette gearbox? Is it not? The jury's sort of out for me. Well, okay, I'm going to say 80%. What's a cassette gearbox? Well, a cassette gearbox is a system where you can extract all the gear components on one end plate, okay, without having to take the engine out. Obviously, take the clutch off, a few other components, take your ring of bolts out. The end plate comes away with all your gear systems on the back. Is that what this is? Almost. Yamaha, get that out of the way, in their infinite wisdom, decided that on this end plate, bottom right hand side here, was going to be an engine mounting bolt. So you still can't take this out with the engine in place. Okay, no. You could modify it, you could put a slight cutter down here, which people have done. So it is a complete cassette gearbox, but as it is, to service and repair this gearbox, it would be taking the engine out of the chassis, which was a shame. So it's almost there, but not quite right. Cassette gearbox is really good for competition use because they give you access for service and repair to all the transmission system within a matter of minutes. But anyway, we've not quite got that. But we'll move on. That's historic. What's done's done. What have we got? Gearbox here. At some point I'm going to dismantle every aspect of that, meticulously clean it all, inspect it, replace any parts, reassemble it, new bearings, etc., because we did get some contamination in the oil from those that water pump failure and the clutch primary gear failure, so we need to make sure that's okay. So that'll all come out, new bearings, new seals, etc. But something I wanted to talk about. What's this here? There's an oil pump on it. There's a transmission oil pump or a gearbox oil pump, call it what you will. What does it do on the RD500? Well, it does a few things really. You have to delve into it, which I've done because I've worked on loads of Yamaha engines, YPBS, RDs, etc., but not the RD500. Going to show you. So there's our pump. On the very back here, that's the outlet for the pump. The oil comes along here into this casing. Now, I'm going to put that to one side. This is standard casing, and this is where we'd have a takeoff point with oil pressure in. On the back of this, there's a solid pipe that goes around the back of the engine. Its first place it calls to is the two-stroke oil pump for your auto lube system, and some of the oil off this supplies oil to the bush within that pump, okay, because that's obviously up out to the oil, so it needs a good supply of oil, so it's doing that. It travels around the other side of the engine, again external pipes, and we've got an outer cover here, so you get a pipe connecting to there and there. What does that do? Well, you've got an anti-backlash device on your two crankshafts on your primary gears. They're up out of the lubricant, and I think to keep them quiet and to cut down elements of wear, if you look here, this is where oil's going to come out, be sprayed out onto those gears to make them quieter, last longer, etc., because they would not be getting a sufficient amount of oil. So let's step back a bit. On this bike, it doesn't have anti-backlash gears. They've been removed, considered to be unnecessary, robbing power. They've gone. Forget that. So these aren't necessary. It doesn't have a two-stroke oil pump because it's premix, so that's not necessary. So I'm thinking, well, why on earth did Dave Johnson, in his infinite wisdom, why is the pump still there? Why would we still have that in place? Doesn't make any sense to me. That is until you start to look at the case. Okay, I'll look at this one. Obviously easy to see, it's separate from the gear clusters. Within this oil supply here, where the pressure goes in, you've got an oil supply to these two bearings. So if you look inside there, you've got a passageway there, and if you look here, you've got a passageway here. So what's happening is you're getting a pressurised oil supply to these two bearings and the gear system. I did read an article somewhere, and somebody suggested that was unnecessary, remove it. It doesn't do anything if you've got pre-mixing, if you've not got your anti-rattle, your anti-slack device on your cranks. Do you know what? What a load of cobblers. Yeah, you do need it, because it's feeding oil to these two bearings, which may not necessarily get it. So although on the one that Dave Johnson did, going back to the original gearbox, you can see all these passageways have been blanked off. So all the oil pressure is going into supplying these two bearings through the end cap. I hope this makes some sense. Anyway, at some point, like I said, my next bit will be showing you how it all gone back together. There's no point me doing this bit by bit, showing you every little aspect of the gearbox. And I just thought it's worth pointing out how this lubrication system works, and it doesn't just attend to your two-stroke oil pump or your anti-backlash gears or etc, etc. It's also supplying oil to these two bearings at this end of the gearbox. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, guys and girls. If you're interested, keep coming back and be lucky.